You're everyone. I'm Wally, and the rest of the listeners are Brennan, and we're roasting chips. Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
1 week or 6 days. No, yeah, 1 week till Spider-Man.
Yes.
The Spider-Man countdown show, I guess.
Yes.
Because yeah,
It
we're
is the most
recording a little.
important of all days today.
Yeah,
It is December 10th, which may seems like a normal date for most people, but if you've watched Community, you know the importance of December 10th from the season one Christmas
oh
episode
yeah, that's right.
where Shirley was trying to have her Christmas party. Let me
That's
plug my
right.
laptop before it dies. That would be good.
That,
And
that would be good.
like the whole line of it's Christmas, it's December 10th. Yeah.
So yeah, this is our December 10th episode,
Yes.
Christmas episode, if you will.
Yep. And
No,
then
I think we might have one more before Christmas, but
15 days from now is just a garbage holiday. It's not Christmas.
Today
Is
is
Christmas. It's December 10th. This is the only
December 10th.
day you can say Merry Christmas at all. Any other day other than this day, it's just invalid. It is null and void. But yeah, happy holidays, everyone. I think we're out of Hanukkah now. I think the last day of Hanukkah was yesterday.
It was Monday, I thought.
Monday. Okay. I knew it was sometime this week. Couldn't remember exactly when. So happy Hanukkah.
Yes. Happy Hanukkah. Happy late Hanukkah, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
Happy late than never.
Happy belated Hanukkah.
If you're listening to this, it's Saturday, which is weird. You're probably like, why is there a chip roasting on Saturday? Well, Brennan, as I think we brought up last week, is going to Disney next week, and so can't record.
You got to get that. Got to get that weekend chip roasting in. You have to. It is required.
Chip roasting's
at least
best
one
on the weekend anyway.
Weekend, yes. I think chip roasting started on the weekend, probably, or maybe a weeknight. I don't know. Anyway,
I doubt it was a weeknight. I bet Gary it was probably like a Friday night.
We've come full sum shape. Perhaps it's a circle. Perhaps it's half of a circle. Perhaps it's three halves of a circle. But there's some shape.
Full fire pit.
yes, exactly. Exactly.
But so we're going to start with some news, and we're going to talk about Hawkeye, which
so that's
obviously
right?
Spoilers for that. I mean, that's pretty obvious.
News, Hawkeye. That's it, right?
That's it, pretty much.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
it.
Yeah, I know. Remember when we had to want to talk about two shows,
two
episodes of two shows, Loki and Bad Batch? Yeah. That was nuts. And then we had nothing for like a solid 2 months.
And then I promise we're gonna get back to all the overlapping shows at some point soon, probably, especially with everything that Marvel and Star Wars is doing next year.
But for now, we just got Hawkeye, and I'm so glad we have Hawkeye.
Yes.
So let's start with the news.
News.
Here's some unrelated stuff we don't normally talk about. Game of Thrones prequel show has been scrapped after the pilot. I don't know if you saw this. The pilot cost HBO $30 million alone, just the pilot, and then they scrapped it.
Wow.
Can you imagine scrapping a $30 million pilot?
Yeah, that is a lot of money. I mean, that's like half of my bank account right now. I wish that was half of my bank account right now.
This show makes that per minute, you know?
Oh yeah. It's incredible they've been able to get that all from AdSense, like no brand deals or sponsorships or anything. Like, I mean, of course, every third word we say is interrupted by an ad, unfortunately. So
that's why the podcasts are so long.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of feel bad for the people who worked on it, put all that effort in and spent all that money. And it's just like, we don't like it. So we're going to scrap it.
The only thing I remembered seeing about that, because I do remember seeing just Game of Thrones prequel stuff in the broadest sense possible online. I remember people being optimistic about it because they're like, okay, at least it won't have to deal with how this series ended. because I don't know the whole Game of Thrones. All I know is that everyone hated how this, like, it was a pretty like unanimous feeling of not liking for how the series ended. So this would have been a neat restart for it, but I understand them probably not wanting to get back into Game of Thrones as
and
HBO Max.
I'm sure, and like you said, the way it ended probably left the sour taste in even the producer's mouth. So, like, if it wasn't perfect, it was probably never going to get greenlit. So
yeah, it's kind of like the 100 for me, even though I know the 100 in Game of Thrones is not the same thing at all.
Right.
But there's been talk of a prequel for the 100 that's been talked about for a while now, because in the last season there was a backdoor pilot to introduce what could be a prequel series, which I'd be interested in, except for the very last episode of the 100. That episode ruined the entire show for me in a major way.
It pulled the How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. So I would, like, even if they do make the 100 prequel, like, I might check it out. I'm not sure what the point in it would be, kind of knowing how the series ends.
Right. Next piece of news. There are two pieces of Star Wars news, and then it's pretty much just Marvel from there. But according to Variety, the Star Wars series The Acolyte is rumored to be eyeing Amandla Stenberg as the lead. Stenberg is known for her portrayal of Rue in the 2012 adaptation of Hunger Games.
Oh.
I did not realize that that movie came out that long ago. That was 9 years ago. Yeah. So,
that was a while. Like, it's like, oh yeah, 2012, that makes sense. It's like, oh, 9 years ago. Wait a minute.
Yeah, the girl who played Rue is like a full adult now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm I turned 24 in like 3 months. I was like, what the who let me do that? So
wow.
That'll be cool. I think everyone liked her in this Hunger Games. I'm sure there are people who didn't, but
I don't think she had that major of
she died
a role. Yeah, because, like,
Hunger Games spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler for Hunger Games, but she in the book she had like a huge role.
Yeah,
and then she died. In the movie she had a small role, and then she died.
Yeah.
But yeah, I vaguely remember her.
Yeah, so that's like the first I've heard of the Acolyte since they've announced it. So
interesting.
That's cool.
Oh,
but next,
I have news for after the next piece of Star Wars news. Don't let me forget that I have something rattling around up here right now.
Okay. You want to just throw that out there now, or you want to wait?
No, let's do Star Wars and then that.
Okay.
I don't want to derail the conversation too much here, except for to interrupt you, apparently, as you continue saying on the piece of news. Okay, there we go.
Star Wars is all announced yesterday at the Gaming Awards. I think they're called that. I don't know. That's a brand new game called Star Wars Eclipse will be coming out soon. They're in like pre-development right now, or whatever it's called. I don't know. Gaming words. It will take place during the High Republic era and will be a first on-screen High Republic experience. And this is where I will take the time to let everyone know, if you have not started on the High Republic books or comics yet, I highly recommend doing so. They are incredible. If you know me personally and want to do that, they're all back there and over there. So I got all the comics and everything for you.
I watched the trailer for that game. Mostly because you sent me the trailer for that game. I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I was hoping it was in the High Republic era. I couldn't really tell, but based on the number of people wielding lightsabers in it, and no sights of clones, I was like, hey,
yeah,
this could be cool.
Or stormtroopers or anything of that sort.
Yeah, but when there was the stormtroopers out, I feel like the number of people that had lightsabers was very small.
Yeah. So, that's true. But it looks awesome. I don't know if the game's gonna look like that is gonna look that good, but and it's made by the company who made Detroit More Human. It's called the game's called Detroit.
Oh yes,
but
yes.
Apparently, like, the way you play the game, like there's no like set story mode. But
Oh,
so like every decision you make affects how the game is played, which is really
wait.
cool.
Are you talking about the Star Wars game or about
Both,
the
well, both, but the
Detroit
Star Wars
game?
game in
Okay.
particular, yeah.
All right. All right. All
So
right.
like and you can play as a bunch of different characters, make decisions here or there that'll change the entire story of the game. So
Interesting. Interesting. Interesting.
yeah, it'd be cool. Can't wait to play that. Um, but yeah, and then so what was the piece of news you had?
Yes. Very glad you remembered. What was the piece of news I had? Oh yeah. So speaking of shows that don't have a lot of information out about them yet, we've recently seen casting stuff out there is the Disney Plus series for Percy Jackson has officially started to cast for the role of Percy Jackson. They're having like auditions right now for that role.
Nice.
So moving in a steady direction here.
Yeah, I wonder when that's set to come out. I actually have no idea when like set to come out. I just know at some point it's gonna.
Yeah, I could not
hopefully
imagine.
Come out. Hopefully it'll make. So I spend $30 million on a pilot and it's suck and Rip Rider and say, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, I cannot imagine it coming out earlier than 2023. I'm hoping for 2023 right now.
Yeah, like a mid to maybe like a early summer 2023 is probably a good time for that.
Yeah,
I will be watching the shit out of that show because I love those books. I'm probably gonna reread them here in the next year or so. So, but cool. I did not know that because I know a couple weeks ago I brought up that they're casting for Annabeth. I think. I don't remember.
Interesting.
I don't remember. Anyway, first look at Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1.
Yeah,
Spider-Verse came out on December 4th.
That was
hinted heavily at Spider-Man 2099.
That was fantastic.
And also,
I loved every part of that.
In the background that it hints at Spider-Man India or I'm going to butcher his name, Pavatir Prabhakar, which sounds like Peter Parker, which is interesting. I just realized that. We also know from earlier this year that Issa Rae was cast as Spider-Woman for this movie, which was an episode that came out on June 5th. I'm very hyped for this movie, especially after seeing Spider-Man 2099.
So, question.
Okay.
We, the last podcast episode we have part of the news in that one was that Marvel and Sony agreed to have Tom Holland's Spider-Man have 3 more live action movies after this one, 4, 5, and 6. And I'm pretty sure they're confirmed. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, like in terms of who work at Marvel and Sony. So we know that is an ongoing thing. We know that this Spider-Man movie will have, the multiverse, the first real look we've got at the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
Excluding what we had in Loki, because that was kind of like an introduction. We didn't actually see the full-on multiverse yet.
Right.
So with that, and seeing that the new Spider-Verse movie is coming out after that,
and it's part 1.
Yeah. What do you think the odds are of seeing Tom Holland's Spider-Man or Andrew Garfield's or Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man make at least a cameo in the animated Into the Spider-Verse?
That's interesting. I don't know. We could definitely see it. I think they might focus on different Spider people though. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it'd be cool.
Like it
I just like that Spider-Man 2099's in it, and he's voiced by Oscar Isaac. So
I absolutely love the focus on like all those Spider-Man characters. I'm just wondering if Sony will take the opportunity, because I know that there was supposed to be a cameo in the first Spider-Man movie of like either Tom Holland or someone like that. So I'm wondering I'm wondering if the reason that like this is coming out after the multiverse is being introduced here, that like the first look at it we've gotten has come out right after all the hype for Spider-Man No Way Home, is because there will be a tie-in.
Yeah, possibly. And you could also go the other way around and have like one of the Spider people from Into the Spider-Verse in Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean,
which I would absolutely love. I was hoping for that initially. I'm pretty sure we had some. There have been a million podcast episodes that we've had. This is actually podcast episode 1,000,001. So congratulations on us for reaching that milestone. But that's one of the things that I wanted was to see like Miles Morales or someone come out of the animated and into like the live action verse here. But I really don't think that's going to happen with how crowded the movie
already supposedly
already is. I would love to see them in either 4, 5, or 6. I can almost guarantee that we will get at least one person in there. Spider-Ham, perhaps.
John Mulaney, Spider-Ham, of course.
Yes. But it would be so much easier for them to take these characters and animate them instead of having the animated ones be live action because of stupid reasons.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So it would just be neat to see. I like that they can tie those two worlds together and just have some crossover stuff, because I would love to see all the characters from Into the Spider-Verse get more involved in this and see Tom Holland move and interact with all those characters. It would be fantastic to see Tom Holland interact with all of them. Even though I don't know if they would use his voice, because for the What If series, they didn't use his voice. It'd be nice to get some actual voice actors in there, but also like it's just nice hearing Tom Holland's voice.
Yeah.
So
and they could definitely do that, especially and that was also a TV show, and that was just for Marvel. But maybe that's why they didn't use his voice.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't, clearly. But I just maybe in Spider-Man 4 or maybe in part 2 of the Into the Spider-Verse, or just Across the Spider-Verse, as it was called, we could see some interaction there. But I need to see Madam Web at some point.
Yes.
That's definitely how you could do that.
Something I just thought of. Do you think do you think it'd be likely at all to see the animated Spider-Verse crossover with What If? Because What If is supposed to be in the multiverse, and that's the multiverse.
Yeah.
So that'd be an easy, because it's already animated, just an easy like drag and drop there.
No, that's true. Yeah, actually, especially with the season 2 coming, and then you got part 1 of the multiverse, you could definitely have that.
Yeah.
Something similar to it. Yeah.
Okay,
but then there's just a whole bunch of rights issues between Sony and Marvel again. So who knows? I mean, it's possible. Everything's possible now with the multiverse. It's how you solve everyone's problem to make everyone more confused.
Almost obnoxious how much stuff is possible now.
It goes back to the whole Loki thing.
Yeah.
It's supposed to happen.
Yep.
So okay. Anyway, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness got people on Twitter. People got that on Twitter. People got Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness trending because apparently they expect the trailer any day now. Well,
I did see that.
For me, that doesn't make any sense because they pushed it back.
Yeah.
And then we had that news last podcast about them having to do, or maybe 2 podcasts ago, but having to do reshoots. I don't think
because like we are over 5 months away from the movie. Maybe we're right at 5 months. I don't know. It's somewhere around 5 months.
Yeah, it's May, right?
Yeah. And for Spider-Man, we didn't get the trailer until we were less than 2 months away from the movie, right?
Yeah, but that was also Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, the other ones, I think we got Shang-Chi a little bit earlier than that, and I think we got Black Widow.
Well, for Black Widow, we got like 3 years early.
we can't. Black Widow can't be involved in this because pushed back because of the pandemic, and there's already a trailer out for it. But I feel like we got an Eternals one earlier than that too. Maybe not.
I'm not sure. And I don't think, especially with what Doctor Strange focuses on, it makes sense to drop it before Spider-Man, because I would think it would have some level of spoilers for Spider-Man. I think they'd have to be very skilled to iron out any spoilers.
Right.
Because
I didn't understand why people were doing that online.
Yeah.
Weird.
What I would think the only thing I could think of is maybe having it a trailer for when you go and see Spider-Man. Like they release at the same time Spider-Man comes out, you're in the theater, you see it like right before Spider-Man. That's only if they can do it in a way that irons out any spoilers. Because like you see a trailer for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, his arm is like in a cast, It's the entire trailer, and you're like, I wonder what happened there. And then like in the movie, someone's like, I'm gonna throw something at you, Dr. Strange, it's gonna break your arm. And he's like, no, it's not. And you're like, wait a minute. Do I know what's gonna happen? Was this spoiled for me? And then like there's like a tense 20-minute standoff, like a fight scene maybe. And at the end, like Dr. Trump's arm breaks. It's like, oh, I didn't see this coming. And it's like, I did because of your ad for the next movie. So we'll just have to see. Also, spoiler alert: Doctor Strange will break his arm. This is now it was meant to happen.
He talked into existence. They went back in the small
TVA.
You're going back right now to go refilm Spider-Man and put that scene in where he gets his arm broken.
Yes. The first listener we always have of our podcast is the TSA, because they're just wired into everything. So they're like texting Marvel now. They're like, "Hey, great idea here." They can break his arm. So that's,
hey, Brennan, is that the TSA behind you? Are they trying to make sure that doesn't happen?
Yeah. Wait. No. No. They're actually right over there, like just off camera. They're in the corner. They have a little like notepad. He's like,
write that down. Write that down.
Yeah. The TSA, you like to think that they just do everything like technologically because they technically could, but they prefer a more hands-on approach. It's a little man just hiding in everyone's room, writing stuff down. They employ millions of people.
So next piece of news is one me and Brennan were, I'm going to say fangirling over, because quite frankly, it's the best way I can put it. And I'm going to directly read it from the article. After months and months of speculation, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has found its Daredevil. As part of his press tour for Spider-Man No Way Home, Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige has confirmed Charlie Cox is the franchise's Matt Murdock, should he return at some point in the MCU. This is Feige's first official comment on the casting after a massive fan movement aiming for the actor, who played the lawyer in 3 seasons of a Netflix show, to return. He says, and this is the last part I'm going to read, if you were to see Daredevil in upcoming things, Charlie Cox, yes, would be the actor playing Daredevil, Feige told Cinema Blend Sunday. Where we see that, how we see that, when we see that remains to be unseen. Now, why would he say that now? What is he hiding?
So incredibly exciting. When I saw that, I was I was just some morning I was like scrolling through Facebook and I saw like a post about that and I sent it to you immediately. And I was like, oh my god, I've been waiting for this for so long, for as long as I can remember. My memory only goes back like a week, so probably some time before that too. But it's incredible, especially with the rumor for Hawkeye and the rumor that he will make an appearance in Spider-Man. I'm hoping that this is a strong indication that it's a very good omen for him making an appearance in Spider-Man, even if it's like in a very small capacity.
Right.
Because if you see Charlie Cox in the background somewhere, that's not like just an accident. It's not like an Easter egg. Like that actually is him playing Matt Murdock, who will at some point probably play Daredevil, which is insane.
Right. Yeah.
Love that.
I would also expect him to make maybe an appearance in maybe like teaching a class or something in She-Hulk. Not be surprised. Just saying. He's a lawyer. She's a lawyer.
Yes.
Maybe they're going up against each other. Who knows?
Probably one of my favorite stories of Charlie Cox. And I remember if I mentioned this on an earlier episode of the podcast, or if I found out about this on the podcast, that would be funny if like you had told me this and I was just repeating it here. But
again, both our memories only go back a week, so we have no idea. I don't know what you're about to tell me.
After Daredevil had ended and Charlie Cox was auditioning for other projects, he got a note after one audition or something about how he was like not making eye contact the entire time. And he realized he was so used to acting blind that he just subconsciously, he just like would just, do the same thing he would be doing in Daredevil, where he just he wouldn't be making eye contact. He was kind of be like looking around in that way that like he does. I thought that was so funny. That he was just so used to like acting like that. He just subconsciously, like it became part of like how he did stuff like that.
That's interesting.
I'm so excited to see him back at some point. I'm hoping it's in Spider-Man, but I can wait.
Well, clearly he's coming back at some point.
Yes.
So And for the record, I did not tell you that story, and I don't believe you told that on the podcast. So
Sweet.
we're okay. We're not repeating
new content. That's what I'm talking about.
But yeah, I'm so glad he's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That show was so good.
I hope that Wilson Fisk comes back with the same actor too.
Yeah. Does that mean that he's coming back, and are we gonna get Deborah Ann Wall back?
Well,
she was amazing. And then the guy who played Foggy, whose name I can't remember, who was in the Mighty Ducks.
I really like that entire cast. It's really great to see like a Daredevil series come back at some point.
That'd be cool.
Obviously, like something like, even as much as I would love to see that again, I'm liking all these new series that we're getting first with like new characters. Echo especially, I'm excited about now after seeing her whole arc in Hawkeye, which we will get to talking about about the episodes. But like I'm excited to see all these new characters. Because like I love Daredevil, but I have Daredevil content to rewatch any time I want. So definitely I'm excited about all these new interesting solo projects that are being pursued. But if Marvel ever does get back to Daredevil, I'd be so excited.
I would be cool with a Daredevil movie. Yeah. But I kind of want him to play like as like a secondary character in a bunch of different things, just him being there and helping out. Kind of almost being like not like a mentor role, but like just being there and being like a good partner to someone. Spider-Man. Stuff like that. Because like Spider-Man Deadpool, we need a Team Red where Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Daredevil. Oh god, we need that in the MCU. Because Deadpool's coming to the MCU at some point, hopefully.
Apparently, they talked about that a while ago. I feel, and we haven't gotten anything about
Ryan Reynolds is busy trying to promote Mint Mobile.
I keep seeing those ads. I don't even know what it is. Like I know it's like
$15 a month phone plan, which is like pretty good coverage.
Yeah, it's so weird that I all of a sudden like, and like I'm hoping that it's an actual, because like it looks like it's like a great deal, a great phone plan or whatever. Just so funny that like Ryan Reynolds, the actor, is like, oh yeah, I made this phone plan. Like essentially,
he bought like half the company one day. It just suddenly appeared on the commercials. But
it's for some reason it's just so like
that'd be a hell of a dynamic.
It's so jarring to me seeing him promote this phone plan, like seeing like it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like the equivalent of seeing like Pete Davidson promoting Smart Water. It gives me the same kind of reaction, but I'm not sure why, because I know why Pete Davidson promoting Smart Water gives me that reaction. Because it's Pete Davidson. He looks like the least hydrated man on the planet. But
hold on, I gotta write that down. That's the name of the episode.
Like, but I'm not sure why Ryan Reynolds promoting Mint Mobile gives me that same kind of reaction. It's just Pete Davidson, man.
The least hydrated man.
Like he could very easily be hydrated. I'm sure he has access to tons of water. But in terms of access to water versus how much is consumed, looks like it's a strong 0%. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say on that. That's all I have to say.
All right. Well, last piece of news. According to Deadline Hollywood, Disney has confirmed that Destin Daniel Cretton will return to write and direct a Shang-Chi sequel. This comes as part of a huge deal between Cretton and Hulu. Cretton and Hulu owned Onyx Studios to create content for Marvel Studios and Disney Plus.
Oh wow!
So yeah,
sweet. Yeah, I'm on
board with that.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that.
Last piece, and then that was the last thing. But before we get to Hawkeye, unless you have something more news.
I actually do have something else to touch on here that's just kind of neat. It's with the CW shows, particularly the Flash here, which the Flash hasn't really had anything noteworthy about it in a while, but they actually kind of took a break from the seasons they're doing to have like a 5-part TV special, and it's essentially like, in terms of the story, it's a lot more high quality because it's not like they took like a season arc and condensed it down into 5 episodes, which is nice because most season arcs, like they took 5 episodes and they stretched it out for 23. So the pacing on this is actually really strong. It feels a lot more high quality than the Flash has ever felt, which is nice. And it's so bizarre because it's called Armageddon, and I don't know if it's like an arc straight from the comic books or if it's been adapted at all, but essentially there's like an alien in the future who sees the Flash like destroy the world, so he travels back in time to like kill the Flash, and Flash is like, what do you mean I'm not gonna destroy the world? And he's like, no, you lose your mind and then you become evil and you destroy the world.
Okay.
So so then the Flash literally just like that day he gets fired from his job, he loses his home base, all this stuff. But he's still fine. And then he's like, oh, let's go see the father figure who's in my life. Let's like hang out with him. And all of his friends are like, what are you talking about? He's dead. He died 6 months ago. And it was this really neat reveal. So spoiler alert, obviously, like this whole arc. But so he's like, what do you mean? And then he's like, oh, he died. And the Flash kind of like, he like blacks out essentially. And then like he comes to and everyone's like, you attacked us. And he's like, I don't remember that. And he's like, okay, I am losing my mind now. But like it was so trippy because like the Flash doesn't usually not have big reveals like that. And this was like a well built up thing. If you watch the episode back, there were like little nods, like his wife was like in mourning, kind of did not want to talk about death at all. It's like, oh, why? Because the last we saw, he was alive. But there are a lot of little neat nods to it or whatever. And then like, so he tries to figure out what's going on. He tries to have his speed taken away to prevent this. It doesn't work, etc. Meanwhile, everyone's like, okay, what's happening? Anyway, he runs to the future. He's like, I need to see what happens in the future so I can try to stop it to not become the person who destroys the world. He travels into the future, and Iris, who's his wife, is getting married to Eobard Thawne, who is the Reverse Flash and his arch nemesis and the coolest person ever in the Flash series. Okay. The BBEG from season 1, who they immediately could not outdo. Like season 1, the Flash is really good, super downhill after that. We're on season 8 now. Just by the way, as a point of reference. Anyway, Eobard Thawne was back, and everybody's like, Barry, you're the Reverse Flash. You're evil. Eobard Thawne is like the Flash. Oh, and it's like, what? And so it's like Eobard Thawne now has like his base and all of his friends, and they're like, Barry, you were never the Flash. You were always the bad guy. We're going to all attack you now because you are the Reverse Flash. And then anyway, Eobard Thawne goes and like they have this whole fight scene. They end up in this, this like abandoned area. And Eobard Thawne is like, yeah, so like I realized I could never win in a battle against you because you're the better speedster now. So I went and changed the timeline so much where I essentially went back and I prevented you from becoming the Flash. So I became the Flash. I stole your entire life. And now I made you into the bad guy here. And Barry, and I was like, okay, that's a neat twist. The CW hasn't really done anything like that in a while. So it's a pretty bold step for them. I hate the trope of the villain explaining everything, but whatever. But then Eobard goes, oh, and by the way, I went back in time and I killed you as a baby, so you no longer exist. And I was like, what? Like, I did not expect the CW to ever do anything as cool as that in terms of like arcs. Because like, I mean, Eobard Thawne has had that power like this entire time. But because, you can't do that in a CW story because that gets into like complicated, storytelling mechanics how do you fit that in? What does that mean? That's like a big, like, it's just not within CW storytelling capability, but they were just like,
Sure.
no, you're dead. You're going to fade out of existence like right now. And it was such a, like, I just can't believe that like they finally made the Reverse Flash live up to his potential. He just went back in time and he killed Barry, so Barry no longer exists. And that's how he was able to like steal his whole life. And that was just such I literally just finished watching the episode right before I hopped on the podcast here, so it's all still fresh in my mind.
Gotcha. That's
but
crazy.
I'm really glad that they brought the Reverse Flash back, because like he's had like cameos in some seasons. Like I really can't refer to them as more than cameos, but but his cameos have never lived up to how he was in season 1, with like his planning and how like twisted he was in like a lot of ways. So they actually are doing the Flash on the CW well for the first time in like ages. So like the Armageddon arc, like them shrinking basically a season's worth of stuff into 5 episodes, helped with pacing so much. So it's like, if any listeners or whatever are into the Flash, I would recommend checking out the Armageddon arc. Like watch season 1 maybe, and
even though it was just spoiled for you.
Yeah. Sorry, just hopefully you skip to this moment and haven't heard anything I just said. But
this just happens to be the 15-second skip mark.
I just would recommend that, and I hope, because after this arc ends, they're starting back into a season, and I hope that they kind of fixed the issues with the seasons, because last season was kind of like, no season has been really solid, but last season especially was kind of like meh. So
there's something to the short form TV shows, you know. I mean, sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're fine.
So that was just all I wanted to share. I just thought that was comic hooky enough to warrant just a little bit of time in here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't pay as much attention to DC stuff as I should, but well, that's cool. At least someone does.
Sometimes DC really hits its marks, and hopefully they continue to learn how pacing should work.
Yeah, they should. You know, it was a 4-hour movie. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even Marvel struggles with that, with some of the shows that should be movies, and some of the movies that should be shows. Yeah. But I'm glad we're seeing more quality content.
Oh yeah, of course. So before we get to Hawkeye, I want to bring up this. I was going to show the video. I'm not going to now. It's a 3-minute video. I really don't feel like sitting through it. But I saw someone online.
Okay.
Her is at J Stoobs on TikTok. She has this theory about Hawkeye. Not Hawkeye, about Spider-Man No Way Home, of course.
Okay. Will this potentially have spoilers, or is this strictly
I guess we'll do a potential spoiler warning. So you don't want to go over it? We can skip it.
How?
They're doing something else to say about it, but that's not what this has to do with it.
How substantial would the spoilers be if everything this person says is true?
Pretty substantial.
Okay, well, yeah,
we'll skip it.
I can take out my headphones if you want to touch on it briefly.
No. We'll skip it. No,
I'll just basically do what I do and just nod without my headphones in.
Okay, well, we'll skip that. But I did want to say before, soon the press tour, or I guess the press tour has already started, right?
Yes.
And the red carpet events will happen. So how long are they going to keep everything a secret?
Yeah, like the red carpet event I know has already happened.
Oh, okay, I didn't see anything about that, but cool.
So
the press tour has.
They've kept it a secret for a bit here.
Yeah, because if you're going to include everyone in the movie in that red carpet thing, you know.
Confirmed. I'm just hoping that when I'm out walking around at Disney World trying to have fun, trying to stay off my phone so I can make sure to avoid spoilers for Spider-Man, that I do not see Kevin Feige himself barreling towards me with like documents of like the Spider-Man script. like accidentally like like rom-coms where like someone trips with like papers and we both help pick them up, and so I would do that, of course. And then just my eyes would glance on the paper. I would just have like the ending spoiled completely, where it's like, oh yeah, I just see like the words. I like say the words like Peter Parker murders Doctor Strange, and I'm like, well, I guess I can't unsee that now.
Yeah, because Kevin Feige just to be walking around Disney World with a stack of unstable Spider-Man No Way Home script.
It was he had just printed out. He needs to get like across the theme park for some reason, like someone's office.
Staple, yeah. He's not using the underground tunnels.
There's no time for staples. No time for staples. He has to get right. He just picks it up off the printer and is like carrying it down.
No, he's gonna look right at you.
He's barreling towards.
No, he's gonna look right at you. And he's like,
me.
You're Brennan from Chip Roasting, right? And you're like, are you Kevin Feige? And then he's like, and he's gonna start reciting word for word the script, ruining it for everyone within earshot.
Yeah. I'll just receive like a call from him. I'll be in line for the movie. I'll receive a call from him, like unknown number, but like I'll answer it anyway, just out of common courtesy here. And he'll be like, "Hey, I'm Kevin Feige. Do you do the Chip Roasting podcast?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, hi, Kevin Feige. Sure, I do the Chip Roasting podcast." He's like, "I actually have not liked any of your past episodes. I'm going to spoil the movie for you now." And like I'll go to like hang up, but like because Disney has so much power, the hang up button will be like removed from the phone. And I'll be like, "Wait, how do you do that?" And they'll just start like, really loudly, just like shouting.
Starts reading the script.
Yeah.
You're not Peter Parker. No.
Yeah. They'll be like, "The scene opens. You see Spider-Man," and I'll have to like I'll be just chuck my phone as far away from me as possible.
But since you're at Disney, like the wind like blows it back at you. You have to get it. You magically catch it. No. And every time you try to get it away from you, it comes back.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like the dolls in horror movies.
It'll be like 3 cast members. It'll be a Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and like Pluto River, like all hold me down, and none of them like hold the phone up to my ear. Like, no,
I can't hear it. No.
Yes.
Spoils and like reads the entire script to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You walk into the movie, you sit down next to your girlfriend, just like, "Is everything okay?" He's like, "Yeah, but I don't really want to do the movie anymore." Why not? Because Kevin Feige just read the whole thing to me. Huh?
Like,
is that Mickey?
Brennan, are you sure you're okay right now? What's going on?
Mickey walks in. Is that Mickey? Mickey looks at you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, so Hawkeye.
Yes.
What a weird scenario, Brennan.
What did I? Yeah,
that's gonna happen.
I mean, it's supposed to happen. That's what the TVA says. Who am I to stand in the way?
That's right. They're over in the corner telling you, right?
Yep. There's the TSA and there's the TVA. Yeah. So
Hawkeye.
What was I saying before? Yes. Hawkeye.
So 2 episodes came out.
Dose episodes.
Yes, thank you for speaking Spanish.
I don't know where that came from. Sorry.
I watched the new episodes twice.
Yeah.
Because my mom wanted to watch Hawkeye.
Nice.
Now I've seen everything twice.
I've seen the 3rd episode twice and the 4th episode once.
I've also I've seen the 4th
and
episode.
And the 5th episode 4 times, actually. I would highly recommend the 5th episode.
6th episode.
Yeah, it was so weird. Kevin Feige just FaceTimed me out of nowhere and he was like, "Hey, watch this." And he turned the phone to his TV. So
Kevin Feige's on Brennan's speed dial.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Or actually Brennan's on Kevin Feige's speed dial. Do you know why? Because he's Mark Hamill.
Yep. Me and Kevin Feige are like this, where this is me right here, and this is Kevin Feige.
For all you audio listeners, go watch it on YouTube because that was not funny if I explained it.
I made a very funny visual joke, but it only makes sense if you watch it on YouTube. So
So Hawkeye.
Promoting Wally's YouTube channel fast. Come watch it over here.
Wolfgate
See all the great
Entertainment.
stuff. See all of the chip roastings 2021 Phantom behind the scenes as well in 2 years.
So Hawkeye.
Yes.
Would you like to explain where we picked up?
Sure. So the first shot of season 3 was super cool because it's Echo's backstory. What did I say?
Season 3.
Yeah. So the first shot of Hawkeye season 3, camera pans up. Hawkeye is dead. There's no explanation. First shot of episode 3, however, let me jump back just a small bit here.
Kevin Feige's giving you so much information, Steve Brennan. You got to get it all right in your head.
Oh yeah. So it's like all just scrambled up. Where was it? Echo.
Yes.
Echo.
Well, yeah. Are you frozen? Oh no. No. Well, that's unfortunate. Brennan, you're frozen. You froze.
Can you hear me now? You froze.
Well, this is great. Great.
How
Good
dare
job.
you accuse me of freezing?
Great. Right at a pivotal moment.
Yes. I don't remember the last thing I said was because I was apparently frozen. But anyway, the scene opens and it's Echo's classroom as a child, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And we get her backstory and it's super neat. She cannot hear, which I forgot about. I feel like that's like one of her main defining traits. So I should have remembered, but it was neat for me. And I'm sure people who don't know the comic books as well, just to kind of get that introduction where it's like, oh yeah, she's deaf.
Mm-hmm.
You meet her dad. And I was like, oh dang, her dad's alive. So no Wilson Fisk adoptive father yet. But her dad was nice. So I'm glad he was alive.
For a little bit of the episode, yeah.
For 2 minutes. I mean, it was most of her life. But 2 minutes to us. He was a nice dude. She was in karate lessons. Is that right? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
In a martial arts. Yeah.
Yes. And there's this guy fighting, and then he was like, oh, it's not about strength. It's about, outsmarting or being quicker. Or I don't know, he gave her some advice like that. And he's like, oh, I have to head on out right now. Actually, I have to be somewhere, but your uncle will take you home. And then you hear like a laugh, and then a hand goes on her shoulder, or no, a hand goes on her face like this.
Yeah. Strokes her chin. And
yes.
That's when everyone was like, Kingpin.
Wilson Fisk. I probably just spiked the microphone there by clapping. I should not have clapped. But that's okay. Wilson Fisk. Hopefully it is. The laugh sounded like his from what I can't remember. And the hand to me looked like his hand. It gave me extremely good vibes. Like the rumors at episode 4. Here's episode 3. It's kind of being introduced. Episode 4, strong possibility, especially when we got the news about Daredevil being confirmed. It's like, okay, absolutely, episode 4, he will be in it.
Quick aside, did you see that Vincent D'Onofrio congratulated Charlie Cox on Twitter for when Kevin Feige confirmed what he confirmed?
I did not see that, but that is.
I love Vincent D'Onofrio.
I am very glad that I heard that news.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway. So anyway, yeah, I was absolutely certain that Wilson Fisk would appear in episode 4 of Hawkeye, and I said to myself, Brennan, if like he does not, I will have no choice but to record him to the podcast on Friday. So anyway, I'm no spoilers yet if he was in there or not. But anyway,
yeah.
Back to her backstory. She grows up some and is like older now. and she drives up on a motorbike, and then everyone's being stabbed by a mysterious hooded figure that we know as Ronan.
Supposedly, there's some theories out there that we'll continue. We'll get to that after this episode.
Yeah. Well, we are pretty sure it was Ronan between like Infinity War and Endgame, and as we all know, Ronan at that time was Kate Bishop. So then there's a lot of stabbing, and so I was Clint Barton. I know. A lot of stabbing and everything.
That was great.
Her dad is there, and her dad gets stabbed, and then Ronan does like a backflip out the window for absolutely no reason other than purely to just be dramatic. It seemed. But then Echo goes in and is like, "No, don't die," and he's like, I don't remember what he said or signed or whatever. It's probably like, "I'm going to die," and then he.
It was so offensive. It wasn't that bad. It's okay. Everyone listens to this anyway.
I don't know. Like I've always wanted to learn sign language, but I don't know.
Clearly have not.
No, I clearly have not. Anyway, so he dies. She's sad. It cuts back to present day where she's there and she's like going out to interrogate them. They're still tied to the musical animal things, and some
people were being very gross about what's her name? Haley Steinfeld on that thing. They've been isolating the video. Guys, please don't do that.
Don't tell me that they're making the joke that I think
don't be gross.
that they're making. Please don't tell me they're making that joke. Don't say anything at all. But
yeah,
okay.
People are gross. Guys, don't be gross. She's a child. She's not a child. She's 24. But don't be gross. Actually, she turns 25 tomorrow.
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Haley Steinfeld. If you're listening. Yes. Oh my God, why?
Yeah, I honestly, you should have much better things to do with your time here. Yes. But yeah, happy birthday. If we do not get a personal thank you from you, then
nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah. We will continue on.
Brennan will call up his good bud Kevin Feige.
Yes. Yeah. I'll be like, Kevin, you will never believe what the star of one of your shows did. And he'll be like, I'm sorry, who is this? And I'll be like, Kevin, it's me. And he'll be like, I have never spoken to you before in my entire life. And I'll be like, that hurts, And he's like, I'm calling security. I'll be like, not in the room. My door will like bust open, like a Mickey Mouse, like holding a gun. And I'll be like, oh, okay. Sorry, Kevin, bye. And then I'll hang up. But I'll be executed anyway.
Anyway, Hawkeye.
How did this bit start? Hawkeye. Yeah, so they're in there, and then Hawkeye's being himself, and then some dude gets off the phone. And he's like, "My Imagine Dragon tickets," and Kate's like, "Here's some advice," and he's like, "Great advice." And then Hawkeye's like, "You talk too much." And then Echo comes out, and
their chemistry again,
like, yeah, oh yeah,
fantastic. I love it.
Yeah,
great chemistry between Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner.
Their chemistry is fantastic. Anyway, then Echo comes out and says, I will not do the fake sign language bit anymore. But Echo's like, what even does Echo say?
Does she basically ask who's Ronan?
Yeah, who's Ronan? And Hawkeye's like, dead. And she's like, what do you mean?
Some key parts there, but yeah, no, that's basically what happens. Yeah.
And
basically says Kate isn't Ronan. Where? And then she's like, "Where is Ronan?" And he's like, "Dad." And he's like, "Who killed him?" And he said, "Black Widow." And she's like, "Oh, how convenient. She's dead too." And
which
he's like,
mean,
that's personal.
Technically, that was the truth.
Yes,
but only technically.
Yes, Ronan is gone, and
because of
it is
Black Widow.
Black Widow, but
holding an umbrella.
Yes, he has umbrella phobia, and he died on the spot.
Yes. Ronan's one like contingency as a vigilante is if he ever sees an umbrella, he dies.
I so many clips to upload to the Instagram page. Oh god.
Oh yes.
So anyway,
very glad he never met a classic comic book Thor, because as soon as Thor disguised his hammer, it'd be all over for Ronan.
Or the Umbrella Academy.
Imagine he's just immortal unless he sees an umbrella, and then it's just him and Thor having this whole battle, and then Thor can't win, so Thor like reverts to his disguise, and then Ronan just dies. And Thor's like, what did I do? Anyway, so then Echo cannot get any more information out of Hawkeye. So she goes over to soon to be Hawkeye and is like, hey, why are you in the suit? And Kate's like talking, and then Echo's like, wait, I'm just going to like attack you right now. And
because she thinks she's the Ronin.
Yeah, for some reason. Because again, I feel like a lot of people in the show overlook the fact that Kate is a child and would have been like
she's like 20 in the show.
Yeah, because she's like 20, right? So I mean, she would have been like about 17 or like younger when all this stuff was going on, which I'm not saying that that's impossible, but like
it's not likely. Yeah.
Like, I mean, the only other like young hero we have is like Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is not like the Ronin at all. So
no, famously has not killed anyone on purpose yet.
Yes.
Yet.
So what happened next? They escape. I think was that happen next.
Yeah.
Clint does the thing and then escapes, and he's like, wait for my signal. And Kate's like, how do you do the thing? Tell me, please. And then he goes and like grabs his bow. I like the scene where he was like fighting them, and like his hearing aid got knocked down, and Echo was like, technology is bad.
Oh no, yeah, she said that early. No, that was like the first thing she said to Clint. Yeah, she's like, why do you rely on technology? Just don't instead.
Yeah, because she was like, oh, are you deaf? Do you speak sign language? And like he was like, I want to eat some cookies, please. No, wait, what's please? Please is this. Yeah.
I don't know. Don't get right? I don't know, but I know thank you and asshole are very similar. So like be careful.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is the right one. And then if you do it under the chin, then that's the bad one.
Thank you. I don't know. This is thank you.
Oh, it's this?
Yeah.
The chin. I don't know what this is.
Anyway, clearly we don't speak sign language.
No.
We can't sign.
I think this is a letter of the alphabet.
This is A.
This is B.
Yeah. I just learned the alphabet the other day.
Or is this M?
Look, all I know is that my name is this. For everyone who didn't know, I spelled my name.
I know that like this is I love you.
Yeah.
That's the one bit of sign language that I know.
It's because it's also Spider-Man.
Yes. Spider-Man loves everybody.
Anyway.
All the time. Yeah.
Anyway, so they're fighting.
Oh, Hawkeye, yes.
It's been like a 9-hour episode.
I will say that Hawkeye so far is one of my favorite shows. Like it beats out Loki and a WandaVision for me so far. There is time for it to go horribly wrong. We need to speed things up.
Both the other two shows did go horribly wrong in the second half of the series. So
yep, and we're in the second half.
Yeah.
Now, where was I? Hawkeye. His hearing aid knocked out of his head. Echo steps on it. They have a whole fight. Hawkeye,
which was great.
He grabs his bow, fires some arrows, fires the arrow at Kate to break the thing. She fights with the shopping cart. He has the thing with the ball pit with the arrows, and then the more arrows. And he's very good with arrows.
His whole thing with the bow and arrows were so freaking cool.
And I really do think it was nice character development for him, because up to this point in like all of Marvel, we know that the one thing, especially with Hawkeye, is he's really bad with arrows. So seeing him all of a sudden become good was just nice character development there.
Yeah.
Don't take me seriously, please. Please do not justify that joke with a serious remark. I do not deserve that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyways, then
Anyway,
they
well,
leave and we get to the
let's
scene. Oh,
hold
sorry.
on. Wait,
Yes.
no, but Kate did the
What else did
cool
we
thing
miss?
where she like slid on the ground, grabbed the support, and then swings around the support and takes the guy's legs out.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Then we get to the scene we got from the Marvel Disney Plus day.
Yeah.
Where they run outside
with the car.
And there's the car, but it wasn't the exact scene that we saw, because in that scene we like heard Kate the whole time.
Yeah.
The scene we got, obviously Hawkeye's lost his hearing aids when he says, "I can't hear you." It's because he actually can't hear, and like we can't hear her either, which I thought was really nice.
Yeah, this episode
really
was really cool because it was all kind of like from a perspective of a deaf person, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, especially the scene we'll get to
a little bit later, not much later, but yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, then he's driving. It's basically the scene we got before, where she's shooting the arrows and he turns the car around. And it was a nice scene. I like the Christmas music in the background.
And then then where it stops,
the tree thing was cool.
Preview was when they slid and stopped before they hit the cars. This is where we got to see some really cool areas.
But the tree thing first, where they were chasing and he went through the tree field and they fired the arrow that got shot the trees and went together. That was fantastic. And then he ran over Santa Claus.
And then it came back up. That was cool.
Yeah. Then we get to the scene with the car where the car stops. And Kate gets her bow back.
Yeah.
Which was nice. You don't want to lose that.
No.
But then one of my favorite scenes, where he had another trick arrow and he was like told like Kate to fire like up at the truck. And then so the arrow's going and you see him pull back the bow and it focuses in on the arrowhead, and it's a it's like a PIM Technologies arrowhead, and you're like, oh my god, I know it's gonna happen. I'm so excited. And then it does, where he fires it hits right the arrow and the arrow gets huge and it crushes the truck.
That was cool.
There's like the world building that involved.
Oh yeah.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
So good. So cool. So cool.
So then we get back to the scene where there's a cool scene where there's like one arrow left, and it's like a USB arrow. And then he goes like get the plunger arrow, and then she's like, "Don't make me fire this," because the guys are all walking up and they all stop. And she like fires it actually, which I thought was a neat touch, and it bounces off the guy, and he's like, "Wait a minute." Because up to that point, you've seen all the really cool arrows. So like in their minds, they've got to be terrified as she's holding this like new arrow. And she's like, "This one's so much worse." But then they do the thing off the side, and the plunger arrow comes in handy. She's like, "Now I understand the plunger arrow."
Yeah,
there's a neat scene where like she's talking about like
we gotta go take care of the dog.
Walk the dog. Yeah, she's like, "Oh, we need to walk the dog. The dog's been cooped up." And then Hawkeye's like, "You're right. You know, you actually are one of the best archers, because like obviously that shot was so precise." So it was great to see like, you know, him really complimenting her on that, being like, "Okay, you actually are a good archer. Like you're one of the best, because not a lot of people could have actually made that shot the way that you made it." And then she's like, "Oh, thanks." And he's like, but he can't hear her at all. So he's like, "Hey, we should go take care of the dog. We need to walk the dog. He's been cooped up for a while." That was such a funny scene.
Yeah.
They go take care of the dog. She's out walking him. He gets a call and it's his wife. So he answers and he's like, "Hey, I can't talk right now," because obviously he can't hear. And then she comes back in and she's like, "No, it's not your wife." She has a little notepad and it's like, it's a small child. And they have a whole conversation. I thought that was really, really cool. I really like that scene.
It was a very emotional scene.
Yeah, it's all the scenes like that. It's the scenes like that are really making this show for me. Like it's really focusing on them as characters, which I feel like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier tried to do, but it could never.
It did well for the most. It did well in certain areas of it.
Yeah, I feel like just the time with like their family or whatever, like with Sam Wilson's like sister, I really like to have seen a lot more interactions like surrounding her or that part of his family or whatever. And that part of his life was only in focus when he was with them. And when he was away, I don't feel like it really came up at all. Maybe there were scenes I'm forgetting, but for the most part, it was like, oh, home life and like superhero life.
Right.
I feel like this is really doing a good job of like showing that like Hawkeye, he has to do both at the same time.
Right. Or at least it affects him when he's not doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, which we've seen that throughout the MCU, or at least parts of the MCU. We've seen that. So
yeah. But yeah, so then they have a nice moment there. I'm gonna start to run out of things. because I don't remember what happened in the middle of this episode. What was the middle of this episode?
I don't remember.
All I
This
know
was
is
a
that
relatively short episode 3.
yeah, he gets the hearing aid fixed.
Yeah.
Then Kate's like, "Hey, we should go investigate some information at my
At the mom's house. Yeah.
at my mom's apartment," and they go there. That's all I remember.
But before that, they had
else?
like this nice conversation about like how Hawkeye doesn't see himself as like a role model because he's taking
the costume.
He's taking into consideration what he did as the Ronin, and
Yeah.
but Kate's like, no, like you're a superhero, and then I think that's when she draws him a costume.
Yeah. That was, and it was the classic comic book Hawkeye costume, which was nice.
Yeah, that was cool.
But then after that,
because this, like I said, this is a short episode.
Yeah, they go. There's probably some major plot point that we're forgetting here, but there's no time. So
it's really not.
They go to investigate on the database that her mom has access to, because they work for a security company or founded a security company or owns one. Whatever now. And Kate looks up some stuff and they find a corporation name. Then Hawkeye hears a sound. He goes to investigate, and it's Swordsmaster.
No, they found out that the one guy works. Echo's right hand man works for
a company,
the security company. Yeah,
but not that security company for like.
Oh, okay, different. Okay, gotcha.
And then Hawkeye hears a noise. He goes to investigate. Blah blah blah. It's Swordsman. He has the Ronin sword to Hawkeye's neck, and it's like, and the episode ends. Like, that's a cool ending.
Yeah.
That's a cool ending.
Real quick, people think, because a big part of Echo's origin story in the comics, right, is that Kingpin hired someone to kill her dad and blamed it on Daredevil, right?
Oh.
People are thinking that we didn't see Ronin kill her dad, but Swordsman, who is hired by Kingpin and is blaming it on the Ronin.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that would be really interesting.
Yeah, that's what people are thinking. So I kind of like that theory. So we'll see what happens with it. But because in the comics, Swordsman is he's like a merc for hire.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Maybe we'll see that happen in this, because I mean, obviously Daredevil's not. This is not called Daredevil, so
yeah,
he's not going to be responsible for killing, or they'd be there to blame.
The only issue I would have with that is, like, if they do go down that route, then it kind of takes away from like Hawkeye's story, like what he's trying to escape from. Like, he's like, the whole thing with Hawkeye that it's been alluded to is, like, he did all this really bad stuff.
No, yeah, you're right.
And so far, the only, like, we've seen some stuff in Endgame, but this is like had been like the most that we've seen with these flashbacks, with that one flashback.
Right.
So I'm like, either way, it would still make for a neat story, but we will see what we get when it comes to all of that. Yeah.
So good third episode, and then
fantastic third episode.
We should probably just get in the fourth episode without saying much, because we don't have much time.
Wilson Fisk time. Hopefully. This is what I thought going into that. I watch this like first thing in the morning. Most Wednesdays I wait till my lunch break and watch it during my lunch break.
But you texted me like when I got to work. You're like, dude, have you watched this? I'm like, yeah, I woke up 3 a.m. to watch it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna watch this first thing in the morning. So what did I say? Oh yeah,
okay, so we were basically
actually had this spoiled for me. I had this spoiled for me before I saw it.
I make sure I don't go on my phone before I watch it.
Not the whole episode, but like the day before, like a full like 24 hours, the official Marvel Studios account tweeted out like the 30-second scene from the episode of Hawkeye and Kate and Swordsman and like the mom all sitting down, like talking about things. Like the scene we got basically at the start of episode 4. I was like, okay, so I immediately knew that it was not going to be any kind of conflict like that, like a fight scene or whatever. It was just going to be like, the sword to the neck, and they would immediately like work it out. So it's like, dang. But
which is what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still neat where like he was like, "You're an Avenger, you're Hawkeye," and Hawkeye was like, "Yep, I'm Hawkeye," and the mom was like, "You're Hawkeye," and he was like, "Yep, I'm Hawkeye," and then Kate was like, "I'm Kate," and then they all went to sit down at the table, and
then
talk.
Kate was like, "We're working together on a mission. Like he's my partner," and he's like, "Actually, I'm not her partner.
Yeah,
and we are not really even working together."
Yeah, and like Hawkeye was like, "We don't have to talk about this. We can just not talk about this."
And he kind of just leaves, right?
Yeah, he leaves. He grabs the Ronin blade because he sees that. Which, I mean, poor swordsman. He just wanted the Ronin blade, man. But glad that Hawkeye now has the complete set. He's found all of that. But then Kate's mom is like, "Hey, leave Kate out of this," and like Hawkeye's like, "Yeah," because like Kate's mom is like, I know Kate has talent, but like I know you've known people who have had talent who have died, and Hawkeye's
alluding
like,
to Black Widow, yeah.
Hawkeye's like, you mean Black Widow? Yes. But yeah, he's like, I will leave Kate out of it.
But Kate does not agree.
No. Kate obviously wants to be in all of it.
Yeah.
What happens next? I think Hawkeye goes and gets beat up, right? How does that happen?
I don't remember how we got from that scene to trying to find the watch. I know he calls his wife at some point.
Oh yeah, because he wants information on the company that the dude worked for, and he's like, "Oh, the company is a shell company owned by Jack, so Jack is involved."
Right.
But then I don't remember how does he get attacked?
I don't remember.
Because I remember that the next thing I remember is him being in like the safe house, and he's like, putting ice on all of his wounds.
Hold on, let's look. Here we go. Hawkeye episode 4 rundown.
This is fantastic. We know how to do our
job.
That's right.
Okay, yeah. So they go back to her aunt's apartment and they do like a Christmas montage.
Yeah, but what happens?
How do they get there? That is
part of that, because I know that's what happens, because he's like icing his wounds when like she comes in with like sweaters and smoothies. But how does he get those injuries?
I think that's just from the fight. Did he have
those?
Yeah, that's from the fight with the car chase and stuff.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, okay. I guess that works then. Anyways, she comes in. They have the really nice. Like I really like that scene, especially when like he's like, "Oh, I can take something that's like this size and like hit it anywhere I want." She's like, "No, you can't." And she's like, "Show me." And he's like, "No." And she's like, "Show me." And it's this little fucking. It turns off the TV.
Yeah, like didn't it like bounce off the wall too or something? It's almost Bullseye-esque.
Yeah.
From the Daredevil show.
Oh yeah. And then so he's like, and then Kate's like, "You have to teach me that." And he's like, "Okay, all right, I will." And then he does, and I really like that scene. I like the whole scene, and it's super like nice and lighthearted. He's having a really great time, and then like Kate's like, "What's the best shot you ever took?" And he's like, "The one I didn't take." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "I am sad now because it's when I didn't kill Black Widow, it became my best friend who has now died." But he's still feeling mostly positive now because he got to have all these fun Christmas experiences like with Kate, so that's nice. Yeah,
you really get to see like a growth in their relationship too.
Yeah, like a substantial one.
Yeah, they're
and so then they go after the watch.
Yes, again, this is another relatively short episode.
Yeah, and
this is only 43 minutes long.
No, the LARPers.
That's right. No, that's right. He went to go have a conversation with someone, right?
He goes to where does he go?
Go talk to Kazi?
Yes. He goes to talk to Kazi. He has her go and get the arrowheads. Yeah. She gets the arrowheads through the LARPers and all that. And so it's super. That was so cool to see, like how he handled his task and how she handled hers.
Yeah.
So funny.
I like how straightforward Kate is. She's like, I'm not gonna lie with you
Yeah,
guys.
she
Here's how it goes.
she literally asked a police officer to commit like evidence fraud or evidence tampering, and I was watching this like she is going to get arrested,
And the
and so I was
cop's
like,
like,
there's yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I don't see why not.
the cop is like for Hawkeye, not a problem. And
She's
then
so straight up. I love Kate. My God.
they like make some deal or whatever, and then like Hawkeye comes back and he's like, "What did you do?" And she's like, "I got the arrowheads." And then with those, they go out.
She got the arrowheads, and they're like Kate like commissioned them to make her Hawkeye a new costume.
Yeah,
Or Clint a new costume.
yeah, because what it was is because like she like owes them a favor basically, and then they were like, "Oh, maybe you can get us enough materials to make us really good costumes." She's like, "Maybe I'll get you enough for those and 2 extras. So you can make us costumes."
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, we'll be down for that." And like Hawkeye's like, we have a mission. Let's go."
the whole exchange between Clint and the police officer. She's like, "But my wife gave me this bag." That was so good.
Yes.
That was so funny.
Which I really like the representation there, like
yes,
as well. Honestly, like, and I know that like it that you can easily see that as like, oh, Disney like having representation without actually having representation, because so you never saw like her wife or anything. But I thought it was still like a nice scene because it's something they really didn't have to include, but they did in like a notable way where it wasn't like a casual mention, but it was like a specific point in the conversation.
It didn't feel thrown in.
Yes,
it didn't feel like they did it for the brownie points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I like that. And then
yeah,
she was like, I need the bag, and then we went back and forth about the bag for a while.
It was funny.
Well,
that's what makes it. That's what interactions like that is what separates this show from the Netflix shows. You know, because the Netflix shows took themselves seriously the entire time, but this is the MCU. It's like, yeah, we can have a little bit of fun. You know?
Oh yes. So then they go to the apartment, and like the watch is in there. There's like a tracker on it, right?
Yeah, and or like Hawkeye was like
that.
Like Clint had like this whole scheme plan, and Kate's like, "No, I'm just gonna walk in," and he's like, "No, don't just walk." And he walks in.
But with the whole apartment thing, what I initially thought, what I was kind of hoping for, and I mentioned this to you over a text, I think. I mean, I mentioned this to someone else, but I was hoping for the reason that the watch was there is because someone was going to meet Wilson Fisk there, and Wilson Fisk was the one who wanted the watch. Yeah. Turned out to not be what that was. We still know exactly what the watch is.
No, because I should correct myself from last episode. I said it was Iron Man's watch, the thing that it transformed into his glove. Yeah. It's not that.
Oh.
We still don't know what it is. People are thinking that it's like Clint's wife's past, and saying that she was like part of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know if I buy that so much, but
I don't know. But what was it? Yes. So they're there. Hawkeye has this whole plan of like how to get across, but then Kate like takes off and it was like, no, you need to be the lookout because you're better at that. Do not trust me to be the lookout. And Hawkeye's like, I guess that's fair. And he's like, okay, here's how you sneak in or whatever. And she just helps an old dude with like his groceries or whatever. And then I really like how they had him get like super weirded out at her like talking to nobody. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm talking to an Avenger. He's like, no, I'll just take that bag back. I'll just walk by myself. And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. I'm pretty sure. That was so funny. That was so funny. But then she breaks into the apartment. There are like the blinking lights. She's like, what are those? Turns out to be a silent alarm for Echo. Mm-hmm. But like Kate finds the watch, but then Echo attacks and Hawkeye's like, no, I'm fighting Echo out here. And then it's like, what's going on? Then so they're having a fight scene there. Hawkeye shoots the arrow to get the zipline thing. Kate manages to zip line down, but then it cuts to like Hawkeye and he's fighting someone else. And you notice a lot of the tools she's using are like the Black Widow tools. Uh-huh. And at one point Hawkeye realizes that too, and he's like, oh no, this is a Black Widow assassin.
Yeah,
we know who it is. Yeah, he doesn't know who it is. Lauren, when she watches the episode, will also not know who it is because she hasn't seen Black Widow
geez.
yet. But we know it to be Black Widow's sister, who was sent
Helena.
by like Madam Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're calling her still? To kill Clint for some reason.
And she tricked her thinking that he killed
yes.
Natasha.
Natasha.
Also, while all this is happening, Kate is flying. She starts going across, and then she stops halfway over. That was funny.
Yep. That was nice. That was a nice bit. And I like how like when it's like jostled over at Hawkeye's end because of the fight that he's in, she's managed to like slide all the way down. That was so perfect. But then there's a whole fight scene, like Kate kind of almost dies at one point, so Hawkeye's like, leave.
Dude, I flipped out. I was like, no. And then like he looked over, like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was Vormir-esque.
I really thought she was gonna. Yeah. Oh yeah. It was very, especially when like he looked, because like that's what Black Widow used to like save him from falling when he tried to sacrifice himself. So like I could see the flashbacks going through his mind, like all of like the PTSD almost from that.
Well,
he's like, I cannot involve Kate in this.
He's getting attacked by a Black Widow assassin, and then that Black Widow assassin throws the person he at this moment is probably pretty close to, and then he's just like, holy shit, not again.
Because I mean, he's becoming very close to Kate this episode, and so it's like all of a sudden all that's kind of like undone because he's like, I cannot have her in my life because she could die, and I cannot
that's
have
when
her die. One, because she's basically a child, but two, also because like I just don't want anyone else to die like this. So there's a whole fight scene. They kind of win because Echo has to go off, and the Black Widow assassin's like, it would like I'm guessing she's like, I no longer have the advantage, so I need to wait and like a regroup here. So she dives off, and then Kate like made it all the way back up, and Hawkeye's like, we're no longer partners. That's a Black Widow assassin. This is serious business. I don't know what's going on, but like you cannot be around me because you are at substantial risk. Yeah, he really said it because I feel like there's a trope where so many heroes will be like, oh, I'm not going to tell you why, but you can't be around me now. But he at least spelled it out. I was like, that's a Black Widow assassin.
Yeah, and he and like that's like the show cuts off when he says that. He's like, you can't be doing this anymore because shit's gotten real. Someone has hired a Black Widow assassin, and then it cuts. Yeah. And you're just like, what the what?
So I'm excited for episode 5 now. Even though we didn't get a Wilson Fisk, sad. I guess I'm gonna have to make a podcast episode today now. But I'm hoping for Wilson Fisk at some point. Still, there's still a lot of time for him to be involved in the series in some capacity. I'm excited to see what the Watch is.
Yes.
Because there's actually like more of a mystery element to here, and the mystery element done well. I hope it's not like a red herring. I'm hoping the Watch actually is something.
Right.
Not like, oh, I just wanted this cool watch. Yeah. It was the watch that Tony owned. It was just like a Rolex. Like, oh, this is a cool Rolex. And Hawkeye was like, no, it's my Rolex now. But Hawkeye, very, very good.
So good. Very so good so far. I'm so hyped for next week.
Much love to Hawkeye this year.
You know what's crazy? We're going to get a Hawkeye, and then literally the next day, we're getting Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
What a time to be a Marvel fan.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting because like, I know when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was airing and it was still canon to the MCU,
everything's canon to the MCU now because of the multiverse.
Yeah. But like they would directly have tie-ins. Like I remember when like Thor: The Dark World, when it was out, the next Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode was like they were at the scene that Thor was at the very end, like the entire building collapsed, and they were having to like to like clean up all the records, make sure they got all of the alien stuff out of there. So like I'm wondering if there'll be any, because this is the first show we've gotten that's really aired at the same time as a movie, right?
Yes.
So I'm going just to see if there'll be any kind of tie-in between those two. Obviously, they don't take place at the same time in the MCU,
right?
But see if something will be alluded to either in the Hawkeye episode before or the Hawkeye episode after. Like if there's just any kind of relation, but like between those things, especially like if there's like a Daredevil reference in Hawkeye and then like a Daredevil reference immediately in Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah.
Then
just something that ties them together, just even loosely.
That'd be neat, yeah.
And then we got our first real interaction between a movie character and a TV show character within 6 months of each other with Yelena and Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So, obviously we've seen Clint in movies before, but you know what I mean, right? So
but also to some extent we got that between Hawkeye and Echo, because Hawkeye is obviously mainly in the movies, and Echo will have her own series.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Yeah,
so that's at least neat there.
After seeing that Echo episode, it'll be interesting to see how they make the Echo show.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it'll be its own standalone thing, because I don't want it to be something where you have to see Hawkeye in order to understand.
Oh no, I meant the way that they did the episode, from a deaf person point of view. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
It'll be interesting to see if they carry over some of those elements to the show.
Yeah,
but
so I'm really hoping this isn't like a direct backdoor pilot to Echo, in the sense that Echo won't really have its own pilot. It'll just be a continuation. I want Echo to be its own thing, because they did it kind of with Daredevil and the Punisher.
Right.
The character the Punisher is introduced in Daredevil. I think it's his own show, but it's just a continuation of his arc in Daredevil. So if you haven't watched Daredevil, you don't really know what the Punisher's backstory is, because it's never really explained quite the same way.
I don't think that'll be the case, mostly because they announced Echo before the Hawkeye started. We've known about Echo for a long time. So I don't think that'll be the case necessarily, but you're right. But we don't know.
They had the Hawkeye script or film stuff done when they were doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, unless you have anything else to say.
No, I think that wraps it up pretty nicely here. When we next have our next podcast, we'll have my trip to Florida to talk about all the Disney stuff from there. We'll have 2 episodes of Hawkeye, probably, and Spider-Man No Way Home.
Woo-hoo. Oh, I'm so hyped. The next episode is going to be 9 hours long, but that's okay.
Yep.
All right. So if you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe wherever you are. Go subscribe to my channel, Wolfgate Entertainment. Subscribe to Brennan at Not Brennan. He may eventually post a video. Who knows?
We will see. I may have something in in the works that should be out actually. And
Disney vlog. No, I'm kidding.
In 8 months. So stay tuned for that.
Just go subscribe. At least go watch the backlog of videos, especially the Star Wars holiday special featuring Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill.
Absolutely.
And leave a review, please, someone, and rate 5 stars, because you can do that on podcatchers. So
just please, as always, forget to subscribe. Wait, no, that's not it. But I can't quite remember what it's supposed to be.
Oh, and follow the Chip Roasting page. I finally posted on Instagram at Chip Roasting. I finally posted something.
Absolutely, follow them there as well. And from me to Wally to all of you. See you soon.
Peace out.
Peace.